Lumi was confused at where Uriel could have gone. She was sure he had come through the portal with Dyax Nox and her. Lumi quickly glanced around, looking for any evidence of Uriel. Looking back at Dyax Nox, Lumi worriedly asked him, "Do you know where Uriel went?" After a short pause, Dyax Nox answered, "I'm not sure where Uriel is." "If we want to find him, it's probably best to split up, however. I need to ask, is there anything dangerous in here?" Lumi looked toward Dyax Nox, her cyan eyes glinting in the light. Lumi rapidly answered Dyax Nox, "There is nothing dangerous inside here." "If that is the case, then there is no risk if we split up," Dyax Nox admitted as he began walking away from Lumi. "Come find me if you find him first." Lumi stared on a Dyax Nox as he walked away. Even though he was larger than her, his footsteps were far quieter. Dyax Nox quickly disappeared into the distance. When Dyax Nox was out of sight, Lumi turned around, and she walked forward into the main area of her garden. It was the exact same as before she left. The letter on her desk was moved. Lumi continued to walk around her garden. Each of her footsteps was light against the stone walkway beneath her. She walked over to her desk, not noticing the letter was moved. Lumi reached for her father's book and began flipping through the pages. Lumi continued to flip through the pages till she hit a bookmark. It was the page about Abraxas. As Lumi reread this page, a single tear dripped from her face onto the page. The book was placed back onto the desk as Lumi wiped the tear from her face. She began to walk away again when she heard a scream from the direction Dyax Nox went. Lumi quickly ran towards the shouting. They didn't sound of anguish, but rather of anger, like someone was arguing. As Lumi was approaching, she saw Uriel and Dyax Nox. It sounded like Uriel was arguing with Dyax Nox for some reason. "It's your fault they're gone," yelled Uriel, tears forming in his eyes. "How is it my fault?" Dyax Nox retorted back, confusion plaguing his expression. Uriel's face scrunched up in anger. "It was your idea to follow Lumi, and now it's your fault. It's your fault that they're gone." Dyax Nox looked at Uriel in confusion before asking, "Who are you talking about?" "Rose, Yuki, and Lily." "Just because you don't have a family left, it doesn't mean I wanted to lose mine," Uriel yelled back as tears were streaming down his face. "My wife. My daughters." Dyax Nox's confused face turned into one of anger before he shouted back, "There is no reason you should bring my past into this, and how would you even know that they are gone?" It was when Ansgar said, "The world is collapsing," I knew he meant the world was getting destroyed when the world froze over. "That means they are." Uriel fell down to his knees, crying as he spoke. "Just because your family is dead, it doesn't mean I can't feel sad when mine die." Dyax Nox, his grey eyes staring down at Uriel, a pissed look on his face. "Don't bring up my past, it doesn't mean I don't have feelings still," Dyax Nox screamed as he grabbed Uriel by his throat. Right as Uriel was lifted into the air, Lumi screamed at Dyax Nox, "Calm down. This isn't the place for violence." Lumi looked worried, and her voice was shaky as she spoke. "My mother always said, I should let people burn their rage away with argument, but I cannot abide you fighting each other." Dyax Nox looked at Lumi before dropping Uriel, and in a soft tone he spoke to Uriel. "I'm sorry, Uriel. I shouldn't have gotten so mad when you brought up my past, nor should I have dismissed your love when you said they died. I'll accept your apology, but only if you agree to take the blame, or at least share it with me," Uriel answered, his voice soft as he smiled at Dyax Nox, tears streaming down his face. "I'll share the burden with you," Dyax Nox replied, as he stood up and looked toward Lumi. "Why do you look so composed? When we met up last, your eyes were still sunken from the crying." Lumi looked surprised at the question, but answered hesitantly. "When I was inside the tavern, I saw a message carved into the wall. It had a part of it about returning Ajax, so I believe he isn't gone. I just need to retrieve him." Dyax Nox stared at Lumi while nodding his head. "That explains it. So that's our secondary go." Dyax Nox was cut off by Uriel as he enthusiastically spoke. "If Ajax could be alive, then my family could still be alive." All three of them looked at each other in silence for a few seconds before Dyax Nox asked sheepishly, "Lumi, can you show us the main area of this place?" Lumi stared blankly at him before answering in a polite tone, "Sure, it's this way. Let's go." Meanwhile, inside a castle overlooking a cliffside, there is a figure drenched in the flickering light of a candle. They're writing a letter, embedded with gold inlays. Inside the letter is written, "Hello, old friend, I know you are probably busy with tasks from EGS, but I ask a favor of you. General, I'd be thankful if you'd accept." Back with the group, as they walk around the main area of Lumi's garden, their footsteps are in unison as Lumi shows the area, that there is my desk where I do some work, and there is the storage area. As the trio looks at the desk, a letter materializes out of thin air and gracefully falls onto the desk. Lumi walks over to her desk. A light set of footsteps follow her as she slowly picks up the letter and opens it. "Hello, Lumi. Long time no chat. I'm inviting you to join a banquet among gods. You may bring a +1. P.S. Only one extra person." Lumi looked around before asking, "Should I go?" She had a look of confusion on her face as she asked. "Of course you should," both Uriel and DX Nox said in unison. Lumi looked confused as she spoke. "Who should come with me?" "Uriel, do you want to go?" With a face of pure joy, Uriel answered, "No, I'm too excited about the prospect of bringing my family back. I'm sure DX Nox would go." Lumi and Uriel looked toward DX Nox expectantly before he finally answered, "It would be nice to meet other gods like Lumi, so yes, I'll go with." The three of them stare at each other with hope in their eyes as they contemplate what Lumi and DX Nox should wear.